So you want to know how to efficiently get up when you're wing foiling. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how you can get up on a high volume board or on a low volume board. But first, intro.
3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, what's going on? Blaze here. Thanks for tuning into my channel. So today we're talking about two variations of getting up wing foiling. We're talking about high volume board starts and medium volume board starts. Near the end of the video, make sure to stick around because I'm also going to be sharing some pro tips that really helped me get up and get going when I started wing foiling. So for higher volume boards, we're basically talking about anywhere between 110 to 140 liters, all depending on your weight. And medium volume boards are going to be under that 110 liter mark and anywhere around 80, 70 liters, but again, totally depends on your weight. High volume boards, typically on flat water, you should be able to stand on to some degree. Medium volume boards, you're not going to be able to stand on most likely, but you should be able to at least go on your knees. And then complete sinkers, which we won't go into detail about today, are those boards where you can basically sit on and you're still going to be up to your waist in water. If you're a beginner or even an intermediate rider, I always recommend boards of 110 liters or higher. If you're wondering if your gear is the right fit for your weight and your size, make sure to check out my full wing foiling gear video, which I'll link in the description below. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is higher volume boards and how you get up wing foiling. So to get started, basically the first thing you're going to do is get on your board and have your wing on the downwind side of your board. So the great thing about your wing is actually you can pin the leading edge down onto the water and use it like a third tripod leg to maintain your balance. And at any time through the whole process of getting up on your board, you get unstable or you feel shaky or you're about to fall, you can just go back to that position, use that wing for balance, and then reset and start the process again. If you're on a higher volume board, you should be able to actually get to your feet from this position. And if you can do that, then you can just lift your sail right up and start catching wind, because as you start catching wind, you're going to be more stable on your board. If you're on a medium volume board, then you're probably going to be working off of the knee start. This is actually also works well if you're on a high volume board. You can practice the knee start, and it's a great thing to practice. It's going to be a lot easier and it'll allow you to be ready for when you get a smaller board. So with the knee start, basically how it works is you're going to be on your knees facing across wind. You can maybe have your knees facing slightly downwind. You're going to pull your wing up to start catching wind with your wing. That's going to start moving you forward and make your board a little more stable. And then once you got a little bit of forward momentum, you're going to plant your foot on the windward side on your board, and then you're going to basically pull yourself up and make sure you use that wing to actually, when it's with the wind blowing in it, to lift yourself up. So you're going to plant your foot, have your wing nice and high catching wind, and use the wing to pull yourself up to a standing position. Once you're up standing on your board, a little bit of forward momentum, then it's all about getting up onto foil. And in stronger wind conditions, it's going to be a lot easier to get up onto your foil versus in lighter wind conditions. Your gear is also super important. So if you haven't already checked it out, make sure to check out my video where I do a detailed guide on all the gear that you need for your body size and your weight. I'll link that again in the video description below. But assuming you have the right gear and you're in conditions where you're not just popping up straight onto foil, then there's two big things you're going to want to do to give you some extra push to get you up onto the foil. And the first thing is pumping your board, and the second thing is pumping your hand wing. So when it comes to pumping your board, you're basically trying to activate your foil and release the surface tension that's acting like a suction between your board and the water. So you're going to be pumping your legs, putting pressure on that front wing, really activating that front wing. So it's going to climb out of the water kind of like a Stairmaster. So you really want to put pressure on that front wing and the front of your board, pump those legs, and that's going to allow you to start feeling that foil lifting you up out of the water. Now, sometimes it'll take a few pumps, sometimes it's going to take 10 to 20 pumps, but majority of the times, if you're needing to pump to get out of the water, you not only are pumping your legs, but you're also going to need to pump your hand wing. When you're pumping your wing, you're basically trying to generate more force to get you up out of the water and being propelled forward versus than what the wind is giving you. So to do that, a lot of people make a big mistake and they just shake their sail back and forth like crazy, trying to give themselves more forward momentum. But what you want to do, and it's some of the best advice that I've ever learned when it comes to pumping my wing, is instead of using that back and forth motion, you actually want to use a big scooping motion to actually scoop the air in front of you and not only pull your wing towards you, but actually pull your wing keeping your hands really high, pull your wing down and towards you during that scooping motion, because you don't actually want to just get extra forward momentum. You also want to give yourself upward lift to make yourself lighter to help you get up onto your foil. So with the scoop, you're giving yourself a nice long power stroke and then a simple reset that isn't acting as a counterforce towards that wing pump. Now, there are a few pro tips that I learned that really helped make everything click for me, so I wanted to share those with you guys. Before I jump into those, I just wanted to ask too, if you like this video or if you find it helpful, please smash that like button. Consider subscribing to my channel. I'm totally obsessed with wing foiling and just loving the journey of sharing all the things I wish I knew with you guys to help you get up on foil a lot quicker, a lot more efficiently. Thanks so much for all your support. And again, I hope the videos that I'm creating are making your journey wing foiling a little bit easier. Okay, so pro tips getting up. The first one requires a bit of patience, and that's wait for the gust. When you're out there and you're pumping and you're so excited to get up on your foil, I know this happened to me when I was out there, you just want to do everything in your power to get up. So you're just hammering your wing, you're pumping your legs, and you're getting exhausted. And a way more effective and efficient way to do this, and a way to conserve your energy, is just look upwind and look on the ocean, and you can actually see some gusts coming, and you'll see little ripples on the ocean slowly getting closer to you, or you can actually feel it once the gust hits. So when you feel a little bit more wind energy at one of those little gusts, that's when you start your pumping, because it's going to be way easier for you to get up on foil. And once you're up on foil, then, well, it's smooth sailing from there. The second pro tip, which also helped me a lot, is just making sure that you're pointed in the right direction for when you're getting up. Typically, when you're foiling, you want to face across wind. It helps when you're getting up to face a little bit downwind. It just gives you a little bit more power to get up on your foil, and then once you're up, you can turn back to go crosswind or a little bit upwind. But again, make sure you're familiar with that wind window and knowing which way you're facing when you're trying to get up on your foil. The next tip I wanted to share, and something that drove me crazy, and I really didn't find any information on the tutorials I was watching or information on the web, and what I was basically doing is, in especially lighter wind conditions, I had a pretty big front foil, which makes it slightly easier to get lift. But what was happening to me is I was leaning back to get my foil out of the water, but what was happening, it was coming up on the foil and then just dropping back down. And what was happening for me was actually stalling my front wing. So what I was doing just by leaning back is I was getting a bit of lift, but I didn't have enough forward momentum to power my foil effectively. And what I thought is leaning back gets you lift. But actually, when you're putting pressure and activating that front foil, you want to keep your board relatively even, so you climb out of the water like a Stairmaster and not just point your nose of your wing straight up to get up out of the water. So if you're going pretty slowly, don't fall into that same trap of just leaning back to get lift. You may stall out your wing, and if you notice you are stalling out your wing, just know that that's happening and try to adjust accordingly. The next pro tip, which made a huge difference for me, was when it comes to your leg pumping, you want to shift your weight forward. So you're actually moving forward, which is a bit counterintuitive because leaning back gets your foil pointing up and gives you lift. But when you move forward and you start that leg pumping, you're really activating that front foil, and you're breaking that surface tension that's kind of acting as a suction between the water and your board. So shift your weight forward, even move that back foot more towards the front of your board, and start that pumping on the front of your board, and you're actually gonna feel that front foil activate a lot sooner. And then once you start activating your front foil and you start lifting off, that's when you can transfer your weight back to neutral. But again, I'll move my back foot like halfway up my board and really hammer on that front part of my board to activate that front wing effectively, break the surface tension, and start raising up onto foil, and then reset into my wing foiling position. Getting up on your wing foiling is all about technique, practice, time on the water. I know on my first day, I was trying to do everything I could, and it was so frustrating because I was having a hard time getting up on foil. But it's amazing that with a little bit of time on the water, a little bit of practice, everything just all of a sudden clicks. You start getting that amazing feeling of getting up onto foil. It starts to become easier, your technique becomes better. So if you're feeling discouraged or you're having a hard time, stick with it. You got to power through that early learning curve. And then once it all comes together and you've spent enough time practicing those techniques that I've shared, you're going to find it way easier to get up in foil, and you're gonna have that incredible floating feeling way quicker, way more efficiently, and have you riding a lot more. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you found this helpful. Please let me know in the comment section below what the hardest part about wing foiling is for you guys. Maybe I can make a video on it, but also just love to hear where you guys are at in your journey. Thanks again for watching. If you like this video, don't forget, smash that like button, consider subscribing to the channel, and stay tuned for the next video. Peace.